Just as a reminder, I'll remind again, this session will be recorded and be put on Facebook Live.
Not letting me change the name.
Really?
Yeah.
What's happening? Are you on a computer or are you on some kind of device?
No, I'm on a computer.
So if you right click, it should say rename. Well, here, I'll do it for you. This is the advantage of coming early. I believe you are from what city? Shortgrass something? Shortgrass?
Yeah, it's I'm with the Medicine Hat Public Library, which is part of the Shortgrass Library system.
Okay, what city are you from?
Medicine Hat.
Medicine Hat. Which state?
Alberta.
Oh, you're Canada, eh?
Canada.
I didn't know that. Oh, I should have known that. I saw the CO or something. Medicine Hat, Alberta, and you said it's a Shortgrass Library, or which one is it?
You can put Medicine Hat Public Library.
Medicine Grass Library. Okay, so I'm just going to put library next to it.
Sure.
Because you only have so many letters. There you go.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. Something I can help you, or tell me something that's going on in Shortgrass that I don't know about.
Oh, we are. All our libraries are closed to the public. We're working on online virtual programs and no contact book pickups. Me specifically, I am the youth and community librarian. So I plan all of our programs for teens ages 13 to 18. And I have a group of volunteers that we meet once a month. And so now trying to figure out how to meet with them and interact with them virtually so we can.
A lot of the libraries, well, I mean, that's how it's amazing. The post from Jennifer Clifton on Library Journal kind of went viral. Like it feels like 20 to 30% of the people here are all libraries around the world. It's been really cool. The second part is you have a common problem, which is connecting with people, volunteers, right, and trying to manage them remotely, and specifically around the issue of they're used to handling books, and now your job is totally different.
Yeah.
Cool. So how good a Zoomer are you? A Zoomer?
I'm okay, I guess.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
I get the basics of it, but obviously I couldn't change my own name, so.
Like 4 or something?
Yeah, maybe a 4.
Okay. Here's the other one. If you hit the manage participant list, and then right click on your name. I think that's the other way you can do it. You can say more and then
yes, yeah, I can see that.
There you go. Now you can add something specific in there that I didn't do. Always so complicated. It's a hard part sometimes is like the interface is different if you're the host rather than you're the participant. And so sometimes I'm like, oh, just push that button. They're like, I don't have that button.
Yeah, we've been using Google Hangout mostly with my group, with my teams.
Yeah. It's free.
It's free, yeah. Because it downside with Zoom, like we would only be able to meet for 40 minutes because I don't have the free package. So
I got a paid account here so we can hang out for 4 hours, Stephanie. And I did. I hung out for 3 hours on my brother. My brother asked me to borrow it, and I got to I got to play in his poker game. And I got 3rd place.
That's cool.
3rd place out of about 18 people. And although he beat me, I was so sad. I had top pair and he had 2 pair and I couldn't see it.
Oh.
I was like, I should have why is he calling so much? But I had the hand of the night. I had a 4 of a kind, and the guy just kept betting into me because he didn't know what I had. And I'm like, I call. There's no way for him to win. Oh, you bet again. I call. And then by the time I hit the end, I pushed all in, and he had only few chips. I was surprised he didn't. He actually folded. So I think, did I show him? I don't remember. Oh, maybe he did call. I don't remember. Anyways, I thought he didn't. I thought he finally folded, and we're like, oh, it's so much little money. He was totally trapped. I
Oh, that's too
I don't know
bad.
how much poker knowledge you have, but
No, I have some. Yeah, no, that's too funny. It's amazing what how innovative we're being with during this pandemic with technology and doing all sorts of cool stuff through Google Chats and Zoom and Facebook and whatever.
so if you want the invite, I host a happy hour every 3 to 5 o'clock on Wednesday to Friday, and you'll see me do things that I never do on this meeting. Like I actually we break all the rules in the happy hour, and it's amazing though. You'll hear true stories of like people all across the country, sometimes around the world. Um,
Cool.
I also host a karaoke on Saturday,
Nice.
and I've hosted a game called Drawful, which is like a very bad Pictionary. And I've also hosted a Kahoot, which is a
Oh yeah.
quiz show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So those are so far. And I'm writing a digital escape room as well
Uh-huh.
as an indoor high-tech treasure hunt. But
Oh,
uh,
fun.
I don't
I
know. I
think
just,
one of my coworkers is working on a digital scavenger hunt.
oh,
Or sorry, a digital escape room.
well, let them know if they want to share the design. I have a platform for it. I might even be able to pay them for it if I can find someone to pay for something. Nobody
Cool.
wants to pay for anything right now, for crying out loud, except toilet paper, I guess.
That's true.
Jeez. This will be great. This session. It's 11:55. It's just going to be you and me, Stephanie. It's going to be a one-on-one for 60 minutes.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
So it'll look like, oh, here comes Evie. It'll look like I actually had to train a guy who was 70 years old, and I think I had to tell him where the start video button was.
Oh.
It was fantastic. It was I actually worked for a decade, 10 years at Microsoft, and
Okay.
so I know what product support is like, and it's very challenging. Hi, Evie.
Hi.
Hi, Evie. Let's see. Evie, what's your first and last name?
Actually, I'm Cassandra Jensen. I'm using my granddaughter's sign in for Zoom from school. It's her Evie. So I'm Cassandra.
Cassandra. Oh,
Yeah.
Cass Jensen, right?
Yep, that's me.
Oh, you heard about me on Facebook.
I did.
Thank you. Okay, let's see if you can learn the lesson, right? You're going to one up the amazing Stephanie from Canada, eh? You're going to right click on your face and click rename.
I'm not re-clicking on I'm not getting a box or anything to redo my name.
Okay, click manage participants. Are you on a phone or a computer?
I'm on a computer.
Good. So if you click manage participants and you right click on your name, or I believe you have to click more on your name, you'll see rename.
Got it. Here we go.
So you can see the model. Stephanie and I have amazing name tags. They're beautiful and amazing and beautiful. I feel like a Trump. It's my name tag's incredible. I give myself my name tag at an 11 out of 10 for name tagging. It's great. It's fantastic. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm probably triggering Cass now.
You're not.
But let's not talk politics. We're trying to team build, not team destroy. It's Catherine. Catherine, can you hear me? No, she doesn't have any audio, and she doesn't have any video. This is my new one. Hey, look at this, Stephanie. Look at that. I made this today.
Nice.
It's better than you're on mute.
Yeah.
What's it? So Stephanie, I want you to make an internal bet. You can private chat me if you want me to. How long will it be in this call before I have to tell somebody you're on mute or use the sign? They're the same.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Cass, do you want help with your name? I can do it for you.
Oh, I put my name Cass there. You want more than that?
Yeah, look at, I give you a model. John Chen, Seattle, Washington, geoteaming. So you are going to be, oh, I don't know who you work for, but where are you calling in from, Cass? You can stay unmuted if it's not too noisy. And then the dog starts to bark. So Stephanie, you also get a link to a resource. It's called CRISP, KRISP. CRISP is actually a noise cancellation program for PCs and Apple phones and tablets. So you could actually hold this in a cafe. Remember when you used to be able to sit in a cafe? But if your dog is barking or your baby's crying, it'll actually reduce the background noise. And so
Cool.
yeah, it's free-ish. And if you use my link, I get another month for free if you're logging in, just to be upfront.
Okay.
So I'm trying it out now, and it's pretty amazing so far. I've heard good reviews. Catherine, can you hear me now?
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you have any video, or is that just a big black Post-it on your screen?
That is a big black Post-it.
Any chance that you might be able to share your video? It will be a big help in this class. If not, I'm totally fine of talking to black boxes.
Sure. I'm eating my lunch, so you'll get to watch me eat.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Phillip is in Seattle.
In
Hey,
case
Adam.
you couldn't have guessed.
I could not have guessed better. Adam, why don't you right-click your name and tell us, let's see, we're putting city and company. Cass, where's North Shore School District? I know, we're picky people. But you're amazed that this renaming piece is a really useful piece. All right, looks like we're just going to about get started. So while people rename themselves, I'm going to start the broadcast. So I'm just going to remind you, this is on both being recorded and on Facebook Live. So as people come in, maybe Adam can tell people to rename themselves until I get started. It'll take me about 1 more minute.
So Catherine, Ed, Ziva, if you wouldn't mind adding what city and state you're in, as well as your company name. If you right-click and choose rename on your video, that way everyone knows who and where you are.
Thank you, Adam. So Adam, as you can tell, is a complete expert with this, and he has great mic volume, something that is very difficult in this day and age. Okay, outstanding. We are live now, and let's get on with it. Well, welcome to virtual team building. My name is John Chen. I am the CEO of Geoteaming, and I'm going to unmute a few of you right now, just while I do this introduction. Thank you so much. There we go. Okay, great. So I'm John Chen. I'm the CEO of Geoteaming, and you are now in virtual team building. And so this course, again, is really to help you with one of the greatest disruptions on the planet, and more importantly, not just how to use Zoom, but specifically if you manage a team or you're part of a team, how they might be able to perform better. So why are you here? Well, I did this for the first time today. I put all of your responses that you put in registration, and I put them into a word cloud. I feel special. Look at that, though. But importantly, that you guys you collectively as a group are looking for virtual team building activities and ideas, as well as some other things. And I believe our guest is coming in. I did think I saw her. She is visiting from Slovenia. I got to get that right. So that's what I love about this class is the bright spot in my day, and it gives me a chance to connect with people all around the world. And you know what's amazing about this? I have traveled around the world. This is my 23rd year of team building, and I've been to multiple countries: Taiwan, Shanghai, Marseille, France, Saudi Arabia. And the one thing that is universal is teams have the same problems, whether you're online or you're offline. So let me just tell you a little bit about why this works. This is research done by my mentor, Dr. Simon Priest. He's actually over 23 books in this field. And let me just share a little basis of what we're going to do. So I'm going to show you why experiential education works. And to me, experiential education is learning by doing. It works better than the classroom. And then this phrase, self-facilitating teams produce the greatest ROI. I'm going to describe what that means. Number one is that experiential team building works. And what I mean by that is that this black line here, if you follow my mouse, is the group average of a team development index. This is a fancy survey that gives them the team. As the number goes up, it says you are performing better as a team. This line here is the important line. This says, as your team development index goes up, the time for a team to complete a complex unknown task goes down as much as 40%. So instead of 45 minutes, it now takes about 27. And the key here is that if you have a team, you're already paying the salary. The only thing as a manager of a team is to get more performance out of a team. And one of the ways to do that is to get a team to spend less time on that task so that you have more time to do other cool things. Welcome, Sandra. I'm going to mute you for just a second. There we go. And the next part is that it works better than the classroom. This is a control group down here. This part here is the classroom. So if I just did this as a webinar and talked to you for 60 seconds, you might get a 10-point boost in your team development index. And then a week from now, it'll go back to 0. So let's just take a quick poll. Have any of you ever taken a class and put it on the shelf, even though you were really excited about the material, and did nothing with it? If you did, raise your hand. Okay, Stephanie says yes, Cass says yes. Adam is texting his broker, Catherine, and Ziva says yes, and Victoria's still laughing at all of us, but because she's like the type A student, I'm pretty sure. Okay, anyways, the last piece here is that this line is about experiential training. This dip here is actually, before an experiential training, they have something called a pre-event anxiety, right? And it says, oh, I'm gonna do something new and different, and the team development actually goes down before the event. But look at this. This is a 77% boost in the team development index. And this just says, this works better than the classroom. And it can work for a longer, greater period of time, which leads me to my next slide. This says this phrase, self-facilitating teams produce the greatest ROI. So first off, self-facilitating. To me, this means that your group takes time after they do something or they meet or finish a task, and they actually take time to debrief. And they ask, it can be as simple as 3 questions, right? What, in other words, what happened? So what? So what did that mean to me? And now what? Now what am I good? Now what am I going to do different? So that's, if you can teach your team how to do that, let me just show you the difference. The bottom here is a control group. They did nothing, okay? These other 3 teams, they did team building and they got that gain. But now, if you do have that gain, and you saw it in the last chart, if you do nothing, within about 6 to 12 months, your team goes back to the beginning. This leads you to my critical quote around this, which is, teams are like software. They need constant upgrades. And if you don't give those constant upgrades, they break or they go back to where they were. So the next one here is a follow-up. So you probably have seen this in a team building program. You know, after a day-long team building program, you meet for an hour and you discuss the concepts, or you maybe do something else. This is called follow-up, and you can retain about 80% of the gains. But here, this team actually takes the extra training to learn how to facilitate and applies it. There is some dip after 2 weeks, but after that, they are not only able to maintain the gains they got from a professional team building event, they were able to meet and exceed those gains. This is how the best teams in the world are. And I have a simulation where out of 2,300 companies, only 9 have ever achieved the highest score possible. Those are self-facilitating teams. So anyways, that's what, if you're looking about doing team building, that's some basis about what to look for. So now, this is my solution to your virtual team building challenges. And this is kind of how I felt about the coronavirus when it went down. I had 10 programs canceled or postponed. And so that was really challenging. And so my acronym for the solution is GRR, right? You can say GRR with me in your mic, GRR. And so what does GRR stand for? Well, the first G is this. It stands for goals. So even though you may have had strong goals pre-coronavirus, we've had the largest disruption to date. And now your goals are either invalid or you may not be operating on the same goals. So now it's really, really important that your team knows the same goals and agrees that they are the same goals. So the facts that we have here is only 5.9% of the companies communicate their goals daily. If you want to be in the top 6% of all companies, just do one thing. Send an email every morning to your team and just say, by the way, here are the goals that we're working on, and maybe here are some status updates on it. And it's okay if it's the same thing, but at least you're doing this. You're communicating the goals daily and asking, how are we making any progress on this? What I'm going to show you today is that too, teams can think they have the same goal, but here in this new virtual Corona, what I like occasionally call Coronaville, that people are operating on them on totally different planes. And if your team is not working, that's probably one of the reasons why. One of the other problems with communication, I believe, is this. We're spending a lot of time on Zoom. And now we have to do things like remove the cat from the keyboard, check out coworkers' houses. You're probably checking out my office right now, right? You're eating lunch. Anyways, so this is the challenges that you're having in virtual work. The next, the R in GER, stands for rules. So, so we all know the rules for face-to-face, which is that we know how to operate, we know how to talk, we know how to have sidebar conversations. But here in Corona land is that we have a totally different set of rules. And so now we need a new level set. Some people are or might have practice in it, but some people have no idea how to operate in this virtual world of Coronaville. And so you got to establish some new rules. This is an opportunity for you. If you want to be a leader in your organization, you can help by setting the rules for your online groups so that they can perform efficiently. So, and it doesn't matter what level that you're at. You can be at the bottom now, and this whole thing has been a level set so that you can actually show leadership here, and you may be able to establish yourself into a higher role. It shows that 39% of surveyed employees believe their people in the organization don't collaborate enough. And that's usually because they don't know the rules and they are not talking to each other. The next R is called rhythm. So your team, again, has had its biggest disruption in its rhythm. We know how to go to the office and get stuff done. I know there's librarians on here, how to check out books, how to get books back. But now you need to establish a new rhythm. And this is another way to display leadership, is to help your team find out what is this new rhythm. And you'll see that you can get exponentially more work out of your team if you can just help establish this rhythm. 97% of employees and executives believe that the lack of alignment within a team impacts the outcome of a task or a project. And that alignment is like the goals. The alignment is also related to the rhythm. The last R is for results. And in terms of results, it's like this. One is, I'm a huge car fan. So I own a Porsche Boxster, and I watch all the F1 videos on Netflix. And look what happens when a team knows it has the same goal. They know the rules of engagement, and they have a rhythm about it. They can do this. They can change 4 tires, service a car in less than 2 seconds. That's what I want to see your teams do in whatever kind of work it is that you do. You want to look for it, and you want to celebrate those kind of results. So those are the 4 things for GER. So I'm going to assume the goal is to host a productive team meeting and establish the best team practices online. This will cover the majority of goals that you gave me, and if you have a few others, we can get them in just a second. So I'm going to teach you your first team building game here, or principle, and it's called Go Ahead Caller. So Go Ahead Caller is a way that, again, we have challenges with sidebar conversations. So for instance, if people came in and started talking, instead of a sidebar conversation or in the back of the room, you come out as loud as me. And now I have to compete with you. And so it's very confusing about going on, what's happening and who can talk. So in this case, I do something called Go Ahead Caller. It's what I like to call air traffic control for conversing online. And so what I'm going to do is I'll establish a set of speaking rules with this, and it's called Go Ahead Caller because I had a dream one time to be a radio DJ. And so, like, let's say Cass called in, right, from Bothell, and she goes, hey, this is Cass from Bothell, and I would say, go ahead, Cass. And so this is where this came up. Okay, the speaking rule is this. If you are visual, and by the way, if you have a camera, it would be a big help if you could turn it on. raise your hand. If not, and if you don't feel like your camera ready, then you need to chat or unmute and then say your name, and I will acknowledge the order and establish an order. You can also be fancy pants and you can find the raise hand button, and hopefully I can also see that too. So we're gonna get a chance to meet everybody. Hi, Trisha. Okay. Good. So let's get a chance to meet everybody. So we're going to introduce ourselves with your name, where you're calling from. And as you can see, some of us have renamed ourselves. I can help you do that. And then give me an example of a team challenge that you're having now. So for instance, if I called on myself, I'd say, this is John. And I'd say, go ahead, John. This is John from Seattle, Washington. And the challenge that I'm having is that I have to teach a class with 12 people in it right now. Okay, great. So who would like to go first? Let's go to Catherine, then Victoria. Stephanie, did I get it right? You're on mute. I'm going to help unmute you.
Oh, thank you. I'm unmuting my phone, but not the system. That's my challenge. No. Hi, I'm Catherine from San Diego with Advisory World. And one of my challenges is I am hosting twice weekly team meetings, just real quick ones around the COVID-19. And unless we do Slido through like anonymous questions, which is great, we don't get much feedback. So I'm glad we're getting feedback through something like Slido, but I would love to just get people to talk out loud versus anonymously posting questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Catherine. Somebody actually gave me I felt like the greatest compliment. And at the end of it, she goes, I have more energy rather than less energy after 60 minutes on Zoom. Thank you, Catherine. Let's go to Victoria.
Hi, my name is Victoria Ledford. I'm here in Abilene, Texas. I work on the Air Force Base doing squadron and community morale and entertainment events. Our biggest challenge right now is, of course, even with this all being so new to to everyone, that even our base leadership is it's so unprecedented. They're gun shy to even let us do things, which, our whole flight is just raring to go and do the very thing we're here to do, this team building. And we're inventing all these new ways to function and be of service to our community and our airmen. But we're just getting approval. That's just the government red tape for you, though.
Thank you, Victoria. And did I misspell Abilene? Probably. You have to unmute.
Yes.
Okay, tell me how to spell it.
ABI.
Darn it, I was so close. ABI lean, right?
Yes.
Number one, thank you for your service. We appreciate it. For those who are in America, it allows us to do what we do. And number two, I just laughed that you said gun shy, right? You probably got some A-10s there, which have the most powerful gun in all of the Air Force. But I've actually got a chance. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
B1s, not A-10s.
Oh, well, there we go. So anyways, but gun shy, I mean, hilarious pun. And hopefully I can help you with that. Again, I've been doing this now. We've been doing virtual team building now for 20 years. I wrote this book in 2012, and this Go Ahead collar was actually invented 20 years ago to help Boeing with a manager program that was completely done by teleconference and watching a video. Remember when they used to ship videos on a DVD? Wow, yeah, crazy. Thank you for that, Victoria. Who'd like to go next? Let's go to Ziva. Wait, Ziva. Zdravo. You have to mute, though. You have to unmute. She did it.
Hello, I'm Živa. I'm from Slovenia. I will not speak very loud because my kids just went to bed and we have small apartment, so I will not be too loud. What is my challenge? I organize team buildings, and at the moment they are forbidden. So we're kind of looking for new ideas, although I'm kind of skeptical about these virtual gatherings. So that's why I wanted to hear from the experts. What do you recommend?
Thank you so much, Ziva, and thank you for doing team building events. I love our industry. I wish it was sometimes more collaborative, but it's so great to hear from you from Slovenia. And again, I've been doing this for 20 years. It is possible. I was actually the first to show it at experiential conference. Two people on webcams a long time ago, right? And they would just share a story for 20 minutes, and their level of trust, we measured on average for a collection of people, went up by 20%. So here, you can Slovenia, Ziva, I'm gonna teach you this new one. You guys can follow me, ready? So put your hands on your head like this, okay? Okay, mind blown. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you know, there is one thing I wanted to say.
Yes.
I'm just observing my kids. They are 9 and 12, and they didn't use computers before this situation. Yeah, they are kind of, yeah, they don't use it because they go to special school, and they started to gather with friends via Zoom, and they play like they would play in person. Just they have to figure out new rules. It's so simple for them. We just see the problems and the only things, and they play every almost every day. They have new group of friends and they stay together for an hour, and they just make their own rules, so it can be really easy.
You want to see the future? Watch your kids. I've always watched my kids. They always tell me which piece of technology. I'm like, what the hell is TikTok, right? And I'm just like, it's like they were on Instagram long before Instagram was cool. And by the time Instagram was cool, they're off, okay? So kids don't have these rules. And Shiva, if you stay on, I actually stay on at 30 minutes after this program ends. I'll show you how to come back and bring some of your analog stuff back here to video. And it's very fun. So thank you so much for that, Ziva. Who would like to go next? Let's go to Trisha, and then let's go to the 2,000 person. I'll check in with you in just a sec. Trisha, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Trisha. I am just outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, and it's a beautiful day. Unfortunately, can't go outside, which stinks. But I work in the healthcare environment, and one of our challenges right now is obviously we've just delayed all training. But I know coming out of this, most of our training is going to need to be virtual. So we're going to have to take what we used to do in person and now create it virtual. And we like to do a lot of engagement when we do training. So even online, we try to do polls and things, but I can see what you're doing. My company hasn't invested in technology. And that's the challenge I have, is that we want to do all these cool and inventive things, but yet I don't have the technology to do it.
Oh, you do, but you do. Stephanie already told me that they're using Hangouts and it's free. So, but the ability to use it now, that's a totally different thing. So thank you so much, Trisha from Raleigh. I appreciate that. Let's go down to, you are COVID prisoner 200018193. Let's check in with you. How are you doing?
Hi, my name is Adriana. I'm based in Brazil. And my challenge nowadays, I am HR in GE. And as Trisha said, many things that were in person now are online. So I'm trying to learn how to deliver trainings, facilitate meetings, now in the virtual space.
Did I hear Deanna? Did I get that right?
Adriana.
Oh, geez. Okay, let me try again. Adriana.
Correct. Yes. Only one N. Only one N. But no problem. I accept having two.
Okay, that's fine. And what city in Brazil are you in?
São Paulo. São Paulo.
Oh, the big one.
Huge city. Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Andrea. And yeah, that's just this getting online. And oh, here you are. You're with GE, correct? Oh, okay.
Yes, correct.
Got it. Okay, so great. Yeah, the challenge is just working with all the stuff that's online. Creative ideas. Okay, who would like to go next? Thank you, Adriana. Let's go to Cass and then Adam.
Hi, I'm Cass, and I work for the school district. I also have 2 kids that are doing online schooling now. So a lot of this has gone to Zoom classes, all the way from my granddaughter who's in 1st grade up to my high school son.
Uh-oh, your audio died, Cass. Yeah. Oops. Ready? I don't know what happened to your audio. Yeah, we still can't hear you. Cass, let's take a chance to finish your audio, or go to the chat room and finish up. And I'm gonna go to Adam, and we'll try and figure out what happened to your mic. Okay, let's go to Adam.
All right. We haven't had severe challenges, but I run a law firm here in Seattle, Washington, and we had already been set up to work remotely so that our attorneys could work wherever they were. And that translated into twice daily Zoom conferences. But one thing that we have done successfully on small scale, less successfully on the large scale, was once a week, we have a game designer who comes in and designs a unique team event for our team. And so we have a team of about 12 people, 10 to 12 people show up Wednesday at lunch, and we play games for an hour and a half. And it's just a way for the team to have a simulated in-office experience where they're not allowed to talk about work. It's just people interacting, solving problems, doing challenges together, being intellectually stimulated, not just chatting about whatever's on social media, but doing some type of activity.
You mean they're not talking about Tiger King, Adam?
We try and resist. Really, we do.
Adam, what's a side benefit for that? What's a side benefit that you didn't expect from that? I'm just curious.
One of it is it's humanizing the people, so they're not just another username on Slack. So that if there is a frustration or a challenge, I found that people are more forgiving of each other's and more patient with each other, because it keeps that, oh, this is a human being with a life and feelings and thoughts, rather than just another username that somebody might feel comfortable yelling at because usernames don't have feelings.
Like 20001964992, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that empathy is something really important in team building. So remember when we used to be able to be face to face and do team building events and touch each other? Well, when I used to do those, I used to run GoPro camera. Yeah, thank you, Siva. I used to run GoPro cameras, and I used to analyze the video, and I found like the top 7 traits of winning teams, and one of them is yes and. Right, which is like Ziva gives me this crazy idea, like, you know, that we want to put hats on our heads for this mission. I'm like, okay, fine. If I say yes and, that our team's actually more likely to win, and like having that empathy for that the other team member, those are things that are winners. If I tell Ziva, oh, that's a stupid idea, I basically doom my team to lose, right, or at least be midfield. So great, Adam, and great pieces here. This is why you need to have this team building morale. This is something out of all my 14 sessions people are saying, is that the team morale is dropping by the minute, and you as a leader, yeah, Victoria's saying, yep, we got to do something about this. So thank you so much for that, Adam. Who wants to go next? I don't know if Cass's mic worked yet. Oh, no. Oh, wait. Oh, Cass, it's probably my connection. Sorry about that. I'm a job coach with adults with disabilities that go to work sites. You can still go to work sites? That's cool. Currently doing resumes and mock interviews using Zoom, looking for more ideas to learn from you all. Thank you so much, Cass. Hopefully we'll figure out your mic, and if not, you just stay on the chat room. Who'd like to go next? Let's go to Stephanie.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I work at the Medicine Hat Public Library located in Southern Alberta, Canada. I'm a teen librarian, so I mostly work with teenagers ages 13 to 18, but I do a variety of other things in the library. So right now we're closed to the public. So we're trying, the library as a whole is trying to figure out how to continue to serve our patrons on a virtual platform. For me specifically, I have a group of teen volunteers who we regularly meet once a month, and they help provide input and plan our teen programs. And they want to continue meeting virtually, so I kind of wanted some tips on how to facilitate those meetings. We did one trial meeting, and it was very chaotic, and I found that I was doing most of the talking, and no one really wanted us to talk. So kind of more tips on how to engage conversation, as well as just kind of gaining some new ideas as the library as a whole is trying to brainstorm different ways to do programs online through Zoom, Google, et cetera, like that.
Perfect. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, nothing worse than like if you had a dysfunctional family and then you put them on Zoom. It's like dysfunction on top of dysfunctional. It's crazy, cray, right? It's, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. So I'll give you some tips to facilitate. Who would like to go next?
Hey,
It's Sandra. Go
I'm
ahead.
Sandra. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. I'm HR at GE. I know Adriana. We work together as well. So right now the challenge that I'm facing is how to stay close to my employees, how to keep them engaged, and also how can I coach my people leaders to be close to their teams, right? So usually they only have calls to connect in terms of operational matters, but we would like them also to stay close as we used to be at the office.
I believe
That's
one
the
of
challenge.
your teammates works in GE Power, correct?
No, I'm in renewable energy. Adriana, it's under corporate, under
No,
global growth.
somebody in a previous session was in Mexico.
Oh, yeah,
Cesar.
yeah, Cesar Camara, right?
Look
He's
at me,
a
I'm like
people
a master
leader.
networker, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I know that guy. I can't wait to come to Mexico. Mexico, it's one of my favorite countries. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Sandra. And let's go to Ed. Ed, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead. Tell us
So I'm here. So I'm from San Diego. I'm actually work with Catherine. I'm going to be leading a meeting with a group of about 25 of our team members, and just want to make sure, I want to get some tips to ensure that we've got maximum engagement from the group.
Excellent. LPL is a library. Did I get that right? Or is that different?
No, it's a financial services company.
Oh,
and
yeah. I saw your website. Okay, now I remember. Thank you so much, LPL. Okay, Ed, thank you so much for checking in. Okay, great. And I believe that's everybody. If you haven't gone, please let me know. So we got a chance to do that, and now you saw that. Let's go back to this. So you saw I established a rule for this, or an order, and it allowed us to get a chance to know everybody. And that's the value of Go Ahead Caller. So now let me just show you the next piece. So the next initiative I'm going to show you is called Back Channel Chat. So Cass has already discovered the chat room. But the chat is something that can be really useful. So here's your assignment. I'll give it to you, and then I'll give some stuff while you tap away. So I would like you to tap either your LinkedIn profile or your company URL. And if you don't want to do any of those, then just type in something so I know that your chat works. So for instance, there's mine. Thank you very much, Stephanie. So as we go along with this, in the chat window, there we go. You want to show people the chat window early on. This is like establishing another rule. And you want to encourage them to use it when others are speaking. Now, why would you do this? Well, number one is it keeps you engaged, right? If you're paying attention and listening to the speaker and you start wandering off, right? Adam starts going on his lawyer diatribe. I just start reading email and I pick up my phone and I'm looking at Facebook, right? But if you're in the chat, right, you can stay here and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, let me click on this thing, right? Let me see what's going on here. So you can really use the chat. I tell you that I chat in all of my friends' meetings or my other presentations because I just want to find out who's here and who's actually paying attention to the chat. Usually I find the coolest people on chat, and not usually the speaker, but I find the people I want to meet there. So the chat can help extrovert get your ideas out without interrupting. And it can also help introverts get your ideas after listening. So introverts, you are getting bombarded with all this information, visual, auditory, screen shares and whatever. But it's quite often that introverts have the right idea to help fix your team. It's because they process all this information and then somehow or another they get the right idea to put it all together. So that's why I think the chat is a really great place, and it helps both extrovert and introverts. You can have creativity and engagement there. So now let's just do a quick check. Adam is there. Adriana is there. Cass.
Can I ask you a question on chat?
Go ahead while I'm checking these off, Ed. Go ahead.
Yeah, so is there a way to limit to only group chat? Because I find that if two members were chatting with each other, they're clearly not engaged in what the group is doing.
That is possible. I don't know on Zoom. I haven't turned it off. There is the default you have to look for, which is if you private chat me, Ed, my default is to private chat you back. And so I'm not broadcasting to the group. And if I intended to, that's not. Sandra, if you haven't chatted, if you could chat, please, that would be great. Stephanie, I think I got you. And Trisha, I got you. And Victoria. Victoria. Is Victoria there? Did you chat? I don't see it in the window. You might be private chatting to somebody else, like your base commander.
No, I put it in there.
Oh, I see it. I see it. There it is. Thank you. And of course, did Ziva get there? Yes. Okay, now let's go back to Sandra. Sandra, if you haven't chatted, you can even chat from your iPhone. You just have to go to the chat window.
Okay.
No pressure. We're all looking at you. It's okay.
But it's right. It's right here, right?
Yeah, I think I forgot what it looks like on the phone.
I sent a hello. I don't know if you received it. It says that it's private.
No, even private. Oh, there we go. Hey, you did it. Okay, great. Great. So now everybody is in. I'm going to give you your next team building initiative. Here we go. Okay. So the team building initiative is this. You guys as a group have to chat the letters A to Z, right? So this is the English alphabet. I apologize for those who are out of country. So you got to chat A to Z one letter at a time. This means that Adam can't say A, B, C, D, F, G. He's an entrepreneur. I know he'll do this. He'll try and game the system. So he can't do that. You cannot chat twice in a row. So if Adam chats A, he cannot chat B, right? Victoria or Trisha has to chat B. You have to restart if you missed a letter. So if you go A, B, D, you got to start over. And if you go A, B, C, C, you have to start over. While you're chatting between A to Z, you cannot talk. But if you missed a letter or repeated a letter, you can talk all you want until somebody starts chatting A to start. Does anybody have any questions? You can unmute your mic to ask a question or raise your hand. Let's go to Ziva. Ziva, go ahead.
How do we know the turn? Who's how does it go?
I don't know.
I think that's what we need to align. But I think we did it okay. Yeah, we missed it, as Adam said. I think as we didn't do it correctly, we need to start over.
Right.
From A, right?
Yep. I think we need to come up with some kind of order.
Yes. We need that for a start.
Yeah. Go. Adam says go alphabetically by our names. Is that what he's suggesting?
I think we could start as we start the first thing that we write. Everyone can check here at the start when our first thing in chat was listed. We can have this order.
Right. So since we missed typing, so we did 2 C's in a row that was incorrect. I started again at A, then somebody went to D, so that was incorrect. So we had to start over. So right now we're allowed to chat time. So we need to pick a system of how to not double up and how to do this in order. I think we're fairly self-organized by going alphabetically.
Okay. I like the option that I forgot her name that she gave. So let's follow the path as we answer on the chat, right? So the first person to write the first letter is Cass, then John, then Stephanie, then Catherine, and so on. Do you like that? Well, so no one types until on that order. We follow that order. What do you think?
Well, which order?
Is that alphabetical?
The one on the chat?
No. Everybody sees a different order on the chat.
Okay.
Why don't we write the names?
On the video?
So Adam, Adriana, we write in alphabetic order, right?
Alphabetical order by first name.
Okay.
Adam, Adriana, then
Cass.
Okay.
Then
Does everyone have
then
a different
Ed.
gallery view if you select gallery view?
The Zoom doesn't keep things in the same order for everybody.
Ah,
like
okay, I didn't know that.
So
All you have to do is remember who you're after, right? If you do it alphabetically.
yeah, so just remember who's before you and who's after you. So
Yeah.
I know that I am going. Victoria, you're the late. No, Ziva. So I'm after Ziva. Jiva.
I'm the last one, and after Trisha. Yes? No.
No, you're after
Yeah,
Victoria.
Victoria.
I put the order in the chat. Is this the alphabetic order? So Adam, Adriana, Cass, Ed, Catherine, Sandra, Stephanie, Trisha, and Victoria.
Right.
And me.
At the end.
No, after Victoria, put
I'm
Ziva.
missing.
Jiva. You're missing
Oh.
Jiva.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now
Yes, I go after
everybody remember who is the person before you. So when you see them chat, that's your signal.
Good job, Ed.
Okay. Okay, I think we cannot talk anymore after
All right,
we start with the first.
After we start, no more talking.
Okay. Okay.
Adam A. Adriana B. Cassie. Ed D. Catherine E. Sandra F. Stephanie G. Trisha H. Victoria I. Ziva J. Adam K. Adriana L. Cass M. Adriana. God, I gotta get that right. Ed N. Catherine O. Sandra P. Stephanie Q. Trisha R. Victoria S. Ziva T. Adam U. Adriana V. Cass W. Ed X. Catherine Y. Sandra Z. Excellent. Okay. So again, remember I told you about self-facilitating teams? I'm going to show you a small version of self-facilitating teams. So I'm going to ask 3 questions. What happened, right? So what did this mean to you? And now what are you going to do different back at your work at home? So who would like to go first? What happened on your side? What were you experiencing? Who would like to go?
I think that. Oh.
Let's go to Ziva and then Adriana. Go ahead, Ziva.
No, I was so excited. I was just, let's go. So I forgot everything. So thank you.
So excited, right? And Ziva, you were the first to say that you were skeptical at the beginning of this. So we're just showing you that it's possible. We're humans. We just want to work together. Adriana in Brazil.
Yeah, at the beginning, I was trying to get organized somehow, like it was a challenging situation. I was like, oh my God. And then it was really funny, like to see that it worked. And I was afraid to not know the alphabetic order. I have to confess, I was like, oh my God, concentrate, not do error.
Yes, my a participant from Hungary had to make sure that she put a browser in another window with the American English alphabet just to make sure. So I actually want okay, so the next question is, so what did this experience mean to you? Remember, I'm trying to teach you about rhythm, right? So what did this experience mean to you in terms of team dynamics? Let's go to Cass.
Can you hear me now?
Yay.
Okay. There's 2 places on my computer that I can hit unmute, so sorry about that. One One thing I did is I sat back and waited till it was decided, because I'm not very good at communicating up front and coming up with a plan, but I'm a good follower. So I knew that was my role.
And that's important, right? As you can tell, there can only be so many quote unquote chiefs, right? And here online, and sometimes waiting, but being a supportive teammate is really important. We actually do some things where to get agreement. We have people, I totally understand the plan. I don't know what's going on, or I don't agree. But the middle vote says, I may not agree, or I don't have any input, but I'm willing to follow the plan. And that's a lot of ways that we get consensus with teams. Let's go to Catherine.
Normally I'm a leader, but I could see there were a couple leaders already coming up. So I kept my mouth shut, because you don't need 12 leaders.
Yeah, and this is the hard part online, right? When you first come in, and especially if you have a bunch of type A people, everyone's going to try and jostle for dominance, especially on a new platform. And so you can tell people sometimes the best thing you can do is not say anything. And, right, you have to say something if you don't know what's going on. For instance, we had a group and they had a plan, and she was actually tuned out. She was doing something else. And so when she came in and they're like, Ziva, hey, Ziva, are you on the plan? And she was like, oh, I don't know. I had to mute everything. I had to watch my kids. I don't know what's going on, right? So they had to get her, and we had to spend a couple minutes getting her caught back up. So now the last question, of course, is now what? Now, what would anybody do different based upon this experience with their team?
This is Trisha. I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, I don't know that I would do anything different, actually. One of the challenges I had is I was trying to figure out how to see everybody's name, and now I found it afterwards. So I appreciate, I think it was Adriana who typed them all out so we could all see them. I think that was a really good approach. I am so looking forward to doing this exercise with my own people. So I appreciate you sharing this. I've heard about it, but I've never actually seen it done before.
Aha. Yeah, it's been in my book. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Just a question for you, John. You've probably done this activity millions of times, but I'm just interested to hear, how challenging is it for you to not help us?
Oh, it takes years and years of training to sit around and let you guys fumble about. And that's the real part of the learning, Stephanie. A little bit like what you said in your meeting. You said I was doing all the talking. You can see, if you want to be a great leader, be comfortable with silence. Just let it die on the floor. And some of those people, right, the type A people, are like, I'm uncomfortable. It's silence. I will eventually say something, right? And eventually, otherwise, the introverts will come back in and they're like, oh God, this meeting's going to go forever. If I just say something, it'll be done. So I look for that, and that's how you get their involvement. And you have to be careful with that silence. And in the team building parts, you also have to be careful with this part here, which is about not helping the teams. So let me just tell you this other part then too, Trisha. I totally agree with you. You guys did awesome. By the way, Ziva, you're only the second person who I can't tell. I think you guys actually started chatting, Adam, beforehand, but Ziva's, at least I thought for the moment, was the only person to actually talk before they actually started trying to do it, right? There's only one other woman, by the way, from Detroit. And so, but let me tell you this, Trisha, and you can cogitate this. Your time was 1 minute and 50 seconds. That currently puts you in 8th place out of 16 classes.
Wow, really? That's interesting.
So what do you think about your performance now? Would you do something different?
Sure. Because we could have done better. Yeah, that's really interesting. But, to your point, before we even started, we should have, before you say go or you hit that button, we could have strategized ahead of time.
I haven't ever shown anybody this during a class. I'm going to do this for you for the first time. Can you see this high score list?
Yes.
Yeah, this is how I knew. These are the sort of classes. The current fastest time is 50 seconds. The current slowest time, 10 minutes and 35 seconds. But they did it without ever freaking talking to each other. They're the only group who's ever done that. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, meanwhile, back at the ranch. Okay, so this is what this experience around, and this is about, again, the lessons I'm teaching you are about rhythm. Without rhythm, you duplicate letters and you miss letters. You're just going to do a lot of work for nothing, okay? This is why I feel it's important to establish team rhythm. Here are some simple ways that you can do it. Number one, start and end each meeting exactly the same. Pick one and then do it. So if you find, and the next thing to do then is to find a rhythm for sharing and solving information, whether you use auditory or chat, right? You can see the benefit of having all the cameras on. You might, assess to yourself, do I feel closer to Ed or to Catherine or to Victoria? And you can see if the camera's on. What I've heard from feedback from other people is saying that they feel like they know that person better. The next thing is about bringing your culture online. So today a guy has a saying and he said, hey, come with me, right? And so I told him, instead of like doing mind blown, right, teach your group, come with me. And you always have that as the culture. I know somebody else has a deer, right, as part of their mascot for their library. Bring that deer online and make that deer part of your meeting culture, if somehow or another, because that's the stability they want. That old culture reminds them of what the old world used to be like. And if you bring it online, they'll feel that safety again. And if you don't have culture that fits something online, just make it, right? Listen to Jiva and the kids. They just make new rules, right? They make new culture. Go back to Calvin and Hobbes and make up rules for stuff. Right? As long as it works, it's great. And if your team agrees to it, that's the rhythm you're looking for. Here's another secret that I'm going to show you. So I showed you the high score list, but let me just show you why I believe most of you are engaged in this call. This is called a participation map. This has all the people who are registered for the class. This is all the people who actually showed up. And this shows you as you participated, whether I could tell, like you could chat, whether you checked in for Go Ahead Caller, whether you did something in the debrief for A to Z. And again, if this column was empty, right, I didn't hear from Catherine maybe from A to Z, or I didn't mark it, it would remind me to check in with her and find out, how's she doing? And then actually she did make a comment actually later that I didn't mark down. This participation map I've been using for 20 years, right? And it is a critical secret. And even if you can't manage like the multiple screens like I can, just print an analog version of it. Keep it in front of you and make a little mark as everybody talks. And you'll find patterns, and you'll also know whether or not who to call or if somebody is trying to check out. It's the number one way to create accountability and engagement inside of here, the participation map. Okay, so last part here is that you again got results. So you guys got a result of 1 minute and 50 seconds. And by the way, that was a great marker there, which is that you planned for it and then you were able to execute it. And you actually took very little time to complete the overall task. I appreciate that. It means that we're actually going to end, I hope, close to on time. The results I hope you can create is this, that you can create successful online meetings, that you have the ability to get work done under challenging conditions, which we all have challenging conditions, that you are looked as helpful and that you are a leader in your company. I look forward to the opportunity for each of you, and that you're developing new ways to help. Let me tell you, this class gives me purpose. I know that I've helped over 300 people have work life that sucks just a little bit less. And to me, that I'll get up for that. I'll get up in the morning every day for that. Again, I've been studying team building for 23 years, and it's just fascinating to see what's happening with that. So I created a solution for this, and I gave you an acronym at the beginning. It was called GER. Does anybody remember what the G stands for? Just unmute and say it.
Goals.
Goals. Thank you, Cass. And now the next one. What's the next R? Anyone but not Cass?
Rules.
Rules from Stephanie. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Okay, not Cass, not Stephanie. What's the next R stand for?
Rhythm.
Rhythm.
Rhythm. Rhythm Nation. Thank you so much. And whoever, I think that was Catherine. Maybe, no, it's somebody else. All right, who was the last R? Just all unmute and say it at the same time.
Results.
Result. Look, we have 100% retention. What an amazing class this is. So let me just actually give you a story about real results here in Seattle. Adam knows the story. He lives here. We're also friends with this guy. This is a story about Canlis. This is a 4-star, 3-generation dining room. Amazing. If you ever get a chance to come eat out again here and visit Seattle. They sat down at the dining room table, and in a week, they redesigned their entire business model. And they did this. Times are changing, and so are we for now. We're shutting down our dining room and bringing the food out to you. Fine dining is not what Seattle needs right now. Instead, this is one idea for safely creating jobs for our employees while serving as much of our city as we can. And actually, if you look at the flag above Adam's head, I think it says the same thing. It says, "We got this, Seattle." This is what they did. They created a bagel shed. You can drive through, get bagel sandwiches and coffee. At lunch, you can get a burger or a veggie melt. And at night, you can get a dinner and a bottle of wine delivered to your doorstep from a 4-star restaurant. You had me at a bottle of wine. Here's the result for this. This was last week. They have a line down Highway 99 here in Seattle. They sold out of the breakfast sandwich by 10:06. And a recent story said they accidentally had a mistake. They replied all to tell everybody for the dinner that that you need to preheat your oven for 325 degrees. And somebody replied going, I find this kind of odd for like a $50, $60, $70 dinner that I need to preheat my oven. And it was a reply all. This thing could have spiraled down into a vicious flame war. But a guy named Howard Kim here in Seattle said, if you have a problem with that, why don't you just make a $100 donation to Food Lifeline? It was like a food bank. And then he replied back again and he goes, it was on Twitter. He goes, oh, screw it. I made the $100 donation. It started off a whole war on Twitter that the nonprofit that was named received over $10,000 that night, including $500 from the owners of Canlis. This is what happens when you know your goals, right? You make your own rules that work for you, that you have a rhythm and you create results. I hope each of you and your businesses are creating results like these. That's why I'm so happy that you attended virtual team building. I'm John Chen. I'm the CEO of Geoteaming. Hey, if you got value out of this, please help others. Just refer this out. This is the only thing I ask for, is that you really share this link and ask others to come if you got value out of this class. The last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how we close our meetings. I'm just going to ask you this question. What did you get from your investment in an hour today? And who would like to go first? Let's go to Adam.
I got a great game that I can share with my team, and also this idea of feedback. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to self-organizing events yet, but these are baby steps.
Excuse me. Baby steps. I just love, was it What About Bob, right? Baby steps to the couch, baby steps to my computer, baby steps to my shower. Thank you so much, Adam. Who'd like to go next? Let's go to Ziva.
Thank you for this. Really, I had a good time. I played and I really feel connected to all these people. It's funny, but we did a thing together. So I think that's the point. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiva. This is the power of shared experience. We're humans. We need this now more than ever. And if you can get your team to feel this in A to Z, you can get them to feel this about the work. And Ziva, will you just do us the one a favor? Tell us what your name means in Slovenian.
Alive.
Alive. When you say Shiva, you say alive. Thank you so much, Shiva. Who would like to go next? Let's go to Victoria.
I would say internet etiquette. Just this new world of meeting online like this, and the team building included, just rules of engagement, but they tell us how to sit properly at the dinner table and how to act at in-person meetings, but nobody's told us how to act online.
I totally agree, and you're going to get a resource. I'm going to give you a Zoom cheat sheet. You can adapt it for other types of things like Google Hangouts. And Victoria, take the time, right? We teach our kids how to eat at the dining room table. We should teach them how to talk on Zoom, especially probably actually not the kids. We need to teach the adults more. All right, thank you so much for that, Victoria. Let's go to Catherine and then Tricia.
I love the Canlis example. I think I'll be using that with the team for just inspiration, because we're a tight-knit, agile team, and I think we can really get them to think about that and kind of own it.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Stories are the world's oldest teaching mechanism, and after you're done using Canlis, we want to hear one about LPL. Let's go to Tricia.
I'm actually really excited. I mean, I read your book, maybe 6 months ago, and then reached out to you, and for me, a lot of times, like you read it and you don't quite know how it all goes together. And so seeing, like just seeing the A to Z was so simple. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, okay, I need to go back to that book and I need to figure out ways to incorporate it into our world because it made a huge difference. And, you know, like Ziva said, I do feel like connected to all of you in just a very short hour. It, you know, this was super engaging.
Thank you, Trisha. Trisha actually emailed after she got the book, and I helped her do something called Broken Squares, and I believe that she did it with her company. The whole section in the book here too has a section about how to plan. So this is part of what I've done is the syntax. Like I have to think about what my goal is, and then what experiences can I bring in here that fit in the time period that I have, and that's when you get great team building. Thank you so much, Trisha, and glad that you're here. Glad to finally meet you face to face. Who would like to go next? Let's go to Adriana. Did I get it this time?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So I feel grateful, thankful, and excited to learn more ways on connecting to people. We are such a diverse team, right, in different locations. And I was like at the beginning, how is this going to work? And it's possible.
If anything, seeing it that's possible gives you the mindset that even if you screw it up, you know it's possible as opposed to it being impossible, right? So thank you so much, Adriana, and I hope that I get a chance to visit you in Brazil sometime. Who'd like to go next? Let's go to Stephanie.
Yeah, this was great. I think I have some really awesome new tools to implement for our next and future meetings. And I especially really like when you talked about the chat function and like how that affects interaction and engagement for both extroverts and introverts, as well as that really cool participation tool chart. I think I'll definitely be using that.
Thank you, Stephanie. Again, you'll be getting a copy of this one so you'll understand how to work it for you, and you can feel free to modify it however you like. You can see also I've added timing marks so I can figure out when I'm ahead or behind and how to change it. Excellent. Let's see. Is there anybody left? Let's go to Cass.
Nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was nice that it was something fun that we did together, and I too felt the connection. It was nice meeting everybody.
Excellent. Thank you, Cass. And now Sandra.
I like even the simple fact that we all turn on our cameras. Usually when we have meetings, we don't turn on the cameras, we just start talking. So it's also a very good interaction to ask for all participants to turn their webcam. So I like it. I'm gonna take good practices from this to my daily basis.
Yeah, hopefully now in this meeting, right? Having 90+% of people with their camera on makes a huge difference, especially in engagement. And one of the keys for you as a facilitator is to pick that out, right? Like, Ziva, why does she have an eye chart in here, please? Right? And they'd be like, oh my gosh, he's watching, right? So, you know, those things that's how you pick out engagement. That's how we used to do it face to face. Someone falling asleep in class, we go like, come on, Cass. Hey, Cass, what are you saying? Right? And so there's ways to do it online. So I'm glad I able to model that for you. It's 101. So most of all, once again, I'm Chen, CEO of Geoteaming. Thank you so much. It fills me up, and I hope it filled you up to be here for these 60 minutes. Again, if you'd like to stay, I'm going to stay for 60 minutes afterwards. But if not, let's just wave goodbye together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Virtual team building.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So if you need to drop off now, you can drop off. If you want to hang out, I am here for Q&A for a little bit longer. Anybody have any questions for me? Oh, let's go to Victoria.
Yeah, do you have other game suggestions? I know there's charades, and I've done one where we muted and tried to guess what the other person was saying. But do you have, and then you did the ABC game. Are there other examples like that you might have?
Well, 2, Victoria. This one has 50, although some of them are broken, so you probably have 46 or so. But the second one is, I forgot to tell you, you guys all qualify for Virtual Team Building 2 now. It's, yay, every Wednesday, 12 to 1:30. I made it 90 minutes. And during those 90 minutes, last time, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do this every time, I can teach between 10 and 15 new games in 90 minutes. And I can only do that if you attend this first part, right? Because now you have the goals and my rules and my rhythm, right? And it was amazing. The last class, everybody came back. And even if they weren't in the same class, they're like, oh, I feel like I know you. It's so great to see you again. And they performed as an amazing team, right? We moved so fast. but it was because of exactly everything I'm saying. I teach about 3 times as much stuff in that class. So I hope it's every Wednesday, 12 to 1. There's 20 free slots. And if the free slots are gone, there is a price if you want to sneak in for free to a sooner class, depending upon your needs. I'm actually trying to pay some bills occasionally here. Yeah, but I made that system. There are 20 free slots. If you don't see the 20 slots, you can go to the next week and you can grab one of those slots. So if you're under budget. Does that help, Victoria? Yeah, you got to come. It's a blast, right? You can even come tomorrow. I think it's full though. You have to check. But if you want to, just let me know. Adam, did you have a question?
Well, 2 things. Our game designer uses it's a site called Ko-Fi, which is for creative people. It allows people to sort of sponsor or buy people a coffee. It's not like it's KO-FI, I think. What is it?
Okay, and your point is, I'll look at it.
So I'm just saying that's where some people who have had who rely on in-person events.
Yeah, this is like Patreon.
Yeah, it's kind of like Patreon.
Yeah, I hypothesized about a Patreon account a long time ago, and I still haven't done it. But here, I'll put it in the link here. It's possible I may do that. It's where people can sponsor you, right? And if they sponsor you, they get different levels of access to cool new stuff. You're going to get access to a virtual team building group on Facebook, so that's also free. And every student of this class is invited there. And so if you get in there, you can post questions, and sometimes other people smarter than me will answer them. Some people.
So, I mean, the other thing is I had a comment for Stephanie. She was asking about her large group of teens that were shy to actually speak up in the big group. John, you remember our 601 happy hour groups where there's curated breakout sessions. I find that if you break people up into small groups and then bring them back and then break them up again and bring them back, Zoom breakouts with their random group assignment feature works really well to overcome that fear of talking in a large group. And I've at least 3 people, probably no more than 5 or 6 in a group, and those people will find something to talk about. And I will go through 4 or 5 different random groups in our meetings of 30 to 40 people, and every single breakout has a completely different dynamic, completely different topic. And people usually are less afraid to speak up in those smaller groups.
Stephanie, do you want to see a demo of breakout rooms?
No, actually, I've been a part of it I think it last week or the week before. I don't know. Time is a construct right now. I was in a Zoom meeting with 200 participants, and it was amazing. And they did breakout rooms. I think we did 5 different breakout rooms, and then we'd come back together and do like a debrief, and we break out again for another thing. And it was amazing. The only downside is budget. I just have to really pitch purchasing Zoom subscription to my supervisor. So I'll work on it. But thanks for the suggestion.
What did you have to do? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last sentence. It broke up.
I only have the Zoom basic model. I would have to pitch a subscription to my supervisor for us to use.
The host has to have a paid account to break out. That's correct. Thank you, Stephanie. And it's like $15 a month. But libraries, Canada. I don't know what in Canadian it is. Okay, other questions? Anybody else?
I need to break out for lunch with the family now.
Yay.
Yay.
Thanks, Adam. I'm glad that you came. Hopefully we'll touch base soon, right?
Thank you so much. Great meeting, everybody.
Bye, Adam. Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay, cool. I'm going to go have lunch too. So thank you so much, everybody. You're going to get an email in about a day or 2, and I'll have all these amazing resources on it. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions. There's also a link there to schedule time with me. So if you have like a specific problem, I'm more than happy to talk with you. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.